Another one? What's with these guys?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Red United TV. It's your boy AMORIM'S, and we are back at it again with another podcast. And it's a weekend of Manchester United once again, or should I say, yet again, losing a Premier League game. Not that it matters to players because they don't give a shit, but for us fans, we always care because our heart is on the line, our passion is on the line. But Manchester United. 17th defeat of the season. So many things to talk about during the week. Some news as well. Ruben Amorim's future looking a bit uncertain after the things he said after the game in a post-match reaction. I will be with the guys later on. I'll introduce you guys, but make sure you guys smash that like button, share across all social media platforms, and of course, become a member of Red United TV. Click on the link description and click on the link tree to follow Red United TV across all social media platforms for those who like your shoes. Echo UK link is there in the description. It is what it is, guys. Sit back and enjoy it because I'm pissed off from losing that game against West Ham. Manchester United are banking it all in the Europa League, but the only good thing is that we're in the final of the Europa League. Let me introduce you guys to the panel. We're going to start off with Uche. Uche is with me right now. Big up, Uche. How are you, bro?
Yeah, it's good to be here, and I'm glad it's Monday, and I lost again, and I lost. So it is what it is.
It is what it is, man. Another defeat, another weekend. 17th lost in the Premier League. We're sitting 16th in the league. Big up, Ola. How are you, bro?
Yo, I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm okay. We're surviving. Small.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah, okay, bro. It's been a long season, and I'm glad it's coming to an end. But even the hope for next season, we don't know what to hope for next season. But this season, I'm glad it's coming to an end. We are where we are. The reality is the position we are is not what we want or where we want to be. But then we don't have a choice. The players, the manager, the club as a whole is in shambles. So we don't know what to do. We just need to keep supporting United, and hopefully we can win the Europa League and just start from there, because I feel like that's just a start, because it's nothing. Even if we win the Europa League, it stops nothing. But we'll get into more details during the course of the show, guys. But thanks for having me, everyone. Spites, and nice to be here with you.
Yeah, big up to everyone as
Yeah,
well, man.
good to see you all.
Let's get straight into it because We're going to talk about the match first, then Ruben Amorim's uncertain future. I'm very sure Uche will be up for that debate there, Ruben Amorim, especially for the things that he said. We'll talk about the quotes. Jerome I believe someone else just joined us. Jerome is in the building, but let's get straight into it. It is Manchester United nil. Tottenham. I mean, West Ham 2. I got the wrong team. I shouldn't be doing that because then I'm speaking to existence in the Europa League final. But it is West Ham 2. Manchester United getting the bubbles blown all over their face. 2 goals conceded. Made some changes in the starting 11. But still, same result as always. Despite the changes, it doesn't matter. Manchester United sitting 16th in the Premier League. The moment we was 1-0 down, we was sitting 17th. But again, our good brother and neighbor in hand, Tottenham, done us a favor by losing and ensuring that we stay 16th while they stay 17th. Manchester United's 17th defeat of the season in the league. West Ham have done it again. Back-to-back victories against Manchester United in the Premier League. Aaron Wan-Bissaka couldn't give a shit against the team he was playing against, his old team. He played a man-of-the-match performance. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to hand it over to you guys. Let's get your overall thoughts. Who wants to kick off the show?
All right, I think Jerome, you need to start.
You want me to start, yeah?
Your defense is coming from.
Because of the situation. Okay, let me go first. Okay. I want to listen to what you guys have to say later, but let me just start. I feel like this, like I said earlier, this season has been a lot, yeah, and there's only one why I won't say we should sack this manager. Not because I've seen any evidence of anything he can do or anything that he has done that has improved this team. But then we've had a certain Jose Mourinho, we had Louis Van Gaal with all the record and everything, with the experience. We had Erik ten Hag, which we believed was the one that is going to come and change this team. We've had all these things that we felt like, yes, okay, it's looking good and they can actually make it work. And at first instance, they tried to make us feel, yes, there's something going on with this team and we can actually make it work. But then it just gets bad. In the second season, third season, and it gets worse. So now I feel like with Amorim, no one expected what's happening. We were thinking if he comes in, we are going to see a huge change. We are going to see improvements. We are going to see the team playing better football. Even though he didn't want to come in January, that is to his defense. But then now he's here. He's trying to build this team, but nothing is working. So I feel like the reason, I've always said this on the show, and every time I've joined that, I will give him the next 2 years or at least the next season to see what he can do with a preseason and a full season. Because I feel like if you sack Ruben Amorim now, you are beginning a new coach, you are restarting this process. These players, as much as we feel like these players are not, maybe they are not as bad as they are or everything, we've seen them in the last couple of years, they've been shocking, even before Amorim came into this team. We can't pretend the team is this bad because of Amorim. No, we've seen glimpses or we've seen this already before Amorim came into this club. And with this West Ham game, we had chances. Mm-hmm. We all watched the game here, and we saw how many chances Osborne had. We saw a couple of chances. Garnacho came in also. We saw chances that if we were clinical, we would have won that game. And we will be here discussing, as much as the season has been bad, I feel like losing that game to West Ham, they've been a very poor side this season. They've been one of the poorest sides this season with the quality they have and everything. So I feel like that is why this reaction is, and also with what Ruben Amorim said after the game. But then we had chances. We created chances. If football is the way it's supposed to be, or if we had clinical and very good players, we should have won that game against West Ham by at least 2 or 3 goals. We can't argue that we didn't have chances in the game, but we never took any of our chances. And that has been our season so far. In a lot of the games we've lost, we've created chances. But we've had Garnacho miss a lot. We've seen Rasmus Højlund miss a lot. We've seen a lot of bad decision making in the final third and defensively that have cost us these games. So if you want to blame the coach, let's also look at the players. That's what I'm saying. So we can't put all the blame on the manager. Yes, at the end of the day, the manager will be the one to get sacked. And we can sack him. I feel like the form is sackable. Unless we are here just supporting whatever we want to support. this form, Amorim, like this Amorim coming in and taking us from where we were down to 16th relegation. I feel like we should have just kept Ten Hag to the end of the season and gotten a new manager in, because I don't think we will be this bad even under Ten Hag. So I understand how bad it is that the form is sackable. If it's not because of we are just having the sea party, I will believe that these players also are not really good enough. We after the Europa League final, Amorim should be going. That is the way it's supposed to be. But then I feel like we saw a young manager in Amorim who was doing very well at Sporting before we brought him in. Not like we just went to pick anybody from anywhere. We didn't come to Nigeria and go and pick a coach from Ikorodu City or Remo Stars. We picked a coach that we believe has done something good or was doing something good with Sporting. So I feel like the pedigree is there. What he has done for the last 3-4 years is there. That's why we want to pick this manager. So then we need to also support him and back him. Next season, he has no excuse. All these excuses we are giving him now, no excuse again. He's a clean slate. If he doesn't perform next season, he's gone. I don't think he's going to even have to. But I feel like Ineos cannot afford to start this manager now because they forced his hand to come here and now they need to back him. But this West Ham game, that is just the story of how the season has gone. And let's just move on. We'll get to Amorim, but I know I've said a lot already, but then let's just move on. I want to hear what Jerome and Uche has to say.
Yeah. Okay,
well, that's in regards to the match. We'll get to Amorim later on. We'll get to his future because I want to read the quotes that he said as well.
Okay.
So yeah, let's get our thoughts on the match first.
Yeah,
Jerome, you're about to go.
So
obviously, that I only watched the
go
highlights.
on, Jerome.
Okay. Obviously, I only watched the highlights because obviously we were out this weekend. But from the highlights alone, you could tell already that the players have given up on the league and all their energy and focus is on the Europa League. That's why when I saw the result that we lost 2, I wasn't even pissed off because it's like the league's done. We're basically in the wilderness in 15th, 16th place. Regardless of what we win our next 2 league games, we're not really going to move anywhere. So I can kind of see why the players have that mindset, even though at a top club like Man United, that's not how we should be. We should be looking to go out and win every single game that we play convincingly. But when you look at this as a whole in context, you just have to just try and get the Europa League, hopefully win that, and then have a big, like, proper thorough assessment of the squad and see who needs to go and what players that we need to bring in for Amorim's system, because obviously we can't continue like this for next season. In terms of the goals that we conceded, you could see that the effort levels were very low from the players. I think the first goal, I think they allowed Wan-Bissaka plenty of space to put a through ball through for Kudos, who crossed it in for an easy tapping. I can't remember the goal score. I think it was Susek, I think. And then
it was Susek. Susek was the goal scorer.
That was the first one. Yeah, Susek was the first one.
Yeah, then we had a few spells as a play here and there, but we didn't really look threatening. And as I said, effort levels weren't really there. And then in the second half, I don't know who lost the ball in the middle of the park from our team. I don't know if it was Amas or someone, but the way that they lost the ball was pathetic. Like, that wasn't no foul. That was just weak play in midfield. And the whole team froze. The guy just stood there on the floor expecting a free kick, didn't play to the whistle.
That was Ogate.
Yeah. That wasn't a foul. He just lost the ball and not much contact and just...
It was so casual.
Yeah,
it was so casual.
Yeah, stayed on the floor and the whole back line just stood there waiting for the referee to blow the whistle, which didn't come. And then it just allowed West Ham to run through our team. Kudos had a shot, and then it kind of deflected over to Wan-Bissaka again, who could have shot himself, but just had an easy layoff for, I can't remember the name now. I think it was Ward Prowse, so one of those sort of players for a tapping. And it was like, 2-0 easy. West Ham didn't even need to play that well. Yeah. They didn't even need to play that well to beat us. So you were just thinking, you can see that the United squad is just kind of written off the league, and there's not much that the manager can do in that sense. He can set the team up. He can tell them how he wants them to play. But at the end of the day, the players need to go out on the pitch and perform and put 100% effort levels in. And obviously didn't do that. And that was like our 9th defeat at Old Trafford. On a positive note, there was some chances that we created. I believe Højlund had 2 chances. One of them we got put through. and he just hit straight at the keeper. And then there was another one where like all he had to do was just have a like hit it across the floor or just smash it into the roof of the net from close range, and he just lazily, or I say timidly, just hits it straight at the keeper from close range. You're just thinking, is this actually a striker that we've got? Like 2 clear-cut chances, and he just doesn't look like scoring at all. And then Garnacho had a chance as well from the left, but he mishit it. And it just looks like a continuation of the problems that we've been seeing for the whole season, that we just can't score goals. Like, that's another nil at Old Trafford. And I feel so for the fans that have to keep travelling there week in, week out, and not seeing the team score any goals. And I think now we've got, minus 11 goal difference now, which since I've been born on this planet, I don't think I've ever experienced that in the United team. Minus 11. And it looks like we're going to probably finish 17th, because I can't see us winning our next 2 league games. But the bottom line is the team's given up and they're focusing on the Europa League, and there's not much the manager can do about it, really. At the end of the day, the players have to perform on the pitch, and there's only so much the manager can do to prepare them for it. So, that's what I got to say on that. Obviously, it was disappointing, but what were we really expecting? I know West Ham, that was their first league win in 9 Premier League games, so they weren't even coming in good form. But that just shows you how poor we are and how much we didn't really care about the result, really. So, it's not that good to see, but it is what it is at the end of the day. We've seen this for the whole season. We've got 2 more games left, and just need to see it out. And then, like I said earlier, that Ineos and the board need to have a massive assessment of this squad, because we can't continue with the same squad next season, especially if we're going to still utilise Amorim's back 3 system, which is what they brought him in for so desperately when they told him now or never in October.
Uche, big up to Uche as well. Uche, let me get your thoughts, your overall thoughts on the game. And then once you have yours, I'm going to have mine. Then we move it to the topic of Amorim's future. Let's discuss that. But yes, first of all, Uche, your overall thoughts against West Ham. Blood blown in our face again.
All right. I'll say it was a sad one. You can see I'm calm today because I'm not really when you have so much expectation for your team and they let you down. The next match you have high hopes again, they let you get down until I learned that you need to kill your expectations. That way you be calm. Now, if you look at this match against West Ham, this is a match that we expect to work out with at least 3 points. Get the level, boost the morale of the players, get everybody on high energy and high tempo throughout the game. The game, if you look at the game, you see there's so much we're actually missing with the players, with the midfield, and also there's a big disconnection at some point you see from the strikers, which is from Hoyland. But you can actually blame him because sometimes I will see that Holland is not running into spaces. What happens when he does run onto all those spaces? You see a situation whereby you're making so many runs that you give up, you stop running. That's just what happened in the case of Rasmus. And if you look at the squad, I think that the squad lineup tells me whether we're going to win the game or not. And I keep pointing out in the fact that you have your best players being put in the bench. Sometimes I wonder what we're trying to create. Amas playing ahead of Ganacho, at least, even though Ganacho is not playing from the right from the
Wing back.
possible best position, but at least he needs to be in this game. And having Amas, who is still young in this game, was the opponents exploited that. Especially if you see the marking. I can't even imagine how you be marking somebody in your 18-year box and you are the person's back. Who marks someone from behind? And they're playing a corner kick coming in front of you and you are at the back of the player. So these are, and if you look at it, I keep saying it every single time, he always have that height disadvantage. I don't know why anytime we're in a spot kick, he is marking someone way taller than him. It does. This is the second time. I said that last time. Now this is happening. You keep marking someone who is way who he doesn't even need to do any work in that regard, and that's why we had that goal, because this would have an easy one, be in front of your opponent and get the ball out. But no, you were instead at the back of the opponent. That's one for Amas, which actually contributed to that goal. Now, in the sense of the overall, you can see that the boys were sharp. Okay, Mount actually was really on point. I enjoyed the transition when they moved, but at the end of the day, it's about conversion rate. The conversion rate, and this also brings me to up with not having the starting 11 right now. I believe we all can see that it's not just about who is on the goalpost. Any goalkeeper you put on this back of the net now will still collect so much goals. The back line, I can see everybody complaining that Euro is out. Why should we complain that Euro is out? How can we place our all everything on a teenager who is just trying to break through in the season? You can imagine, to show you how. But regardless, if you look at what to take away from this game, I know that we don't have a pool of players to pull from, to actually select from. But one good thing I want to say is that we are losing, which shows that we're not good enough. So that means if we're entering any game, we already know that we're not good enough. That we can only get. There's no. We actually hit the bottom. This is the worst that can happen to United right now. This is the worst that can happen, and you can only get better from here. That's all I have to say. But from the team overall performance, if we are to go wide with this performance, I'm telling you, we are not going to win any other game again till the end of the season. If we go by what we played, we are not going to win any game till the end of the season. That just it. But if about what both the starting lineup, I don't understand it. The chemistry, everybody lacks it. You can see that we don't even know who is who is where, and is confusing. The marking we are poor. We don't know who the right players to pick at the time, and we will need to pick them. So that's why you can see that whenever they went for attack, they were free because we were lacking who to pick at that swift seconds to pick the play in the right play you need to mark. But we are here. What I can actually say is that we need to either draw or win the next two games, because you can imagine last time we had a win was that should be a match. That should be against Leicester. That's like
We only beat
who knows.
Leicester,
So is
Ipswich. I think it's Leicester and Ipswich. You only beat teams that have been relegated. Literally.
yeah. I mean that should be in
Yeah.
March. We didn't beat any player last month. We didn't beat any team last month in the Premier League.
Yeah.
No.
Who did we play in March?
We didn't beat any player. We didn't play any team.
Yeah.
We didn't beat any team last month. So you can imagine. So it's been a long time, and these are the team players that are in the final. So it's just about, in the Premier League, like you said earlier, the team does not have that motivation to go through the final line. It's already, everybody's ready for the next season. I know, but we still need those wins, because you can't be. You can imagine right now we are in 30, 38, 36 matches, and yet we're just having points, 1 point away from 40, and we might not even get it. 40.
We're not getting it.
40.
Next two games are
Come
Chelsea and Aston Villa. We are not getting this 40 points. We are not getting this 40 points.
40 points. It's hard. It's not hard for United. So it is what it is. So it's a terrible match. I don't want to. There's not much good to take away, because the team as a whole was not solid. So that does not give me to any good thing point out in the players' individuality in their performance, because the team as a pack, no, they didn't do the job. They
didn't do the job at all. Big up to everyone that's in the chat right now. Ems is already in the chat saying stuff like, "We can't score goals. Sack him." Mate, a lawyer can't even defend him to why he should stay. Kiss my teeth. He also says that he won't last next season. Big up Alex as well, who just joined the chat as well, and watch. Just smash that like button, guys. We need men on the pitch. Alex also says that the young players' overall stats are in the 60s and 70% for those who play the FC 25. The overall stats, that's what he's relating it to.
Yeah.
Alex also says Euro, Amas, Konacho, Menu, Ahmed, etc. are kids. They are our best players. Ems is still ranting. He's still ranting. He hasn't finished. Even that sackable offense, his formation ain't working. He's stubborn. Dogu is a kid as well, says Alex. But yeah, let me give you my thoughts, because on that was coming all the way outside of London, making that journey in, connecting to the stream, losing the stream, and just being frustrated, but then eventually finding a good stream. First half, we was trash. We couldn't create any opportunities apart from the one opportunity that fell to Grasmish Pulin. Uche, you know what? Yeah, your guy. This is your guy because you backed him last week. You said that on a different manager, he would be something else. He'll be gold. That's what you basically said. That's how I took it. You never said it, but that's how I'm taking it. Like he would be gold if he was somewhere else. But yes, the one good opportunity that he had, and I see him try to lob the goalkeeper. In my opinion, it's not an easy thing to do, but the position and the distance he was in, he could have done it. But once again, we see that Rasmus Højlund doesn't have the confidence to finish the good chances that he gets. In the second half, he saw that opportunity as well, where he lashed onto the ball and somehow Areola saved it. And then again, someone else had an opportunity. This, once again, the connection with him and the midfield and the wing backs is non-existent. I'll be honest, watching that game, they don't want to pass. They don't want to cross the ball to him. Whenever he's on the pitch, they don't want to cross the ball to him.
You just said what I wanted to say. No one does that. I've seen if you follow the pattern with Rasmus since he joined, you notice that he was so awful with the balls that they stopped to pass ball for him. Even when he missed countless of runs, he got tight till he gave up. If you've been in a team where people don't pass ball to you, trust me, you won't care jack about anyone. You will actually feel reluctant because you open. No one does that. No one gives a ball. That's the case of Rasmus. And you said it all. The confidence is not there. I'm not saying the guy is a good kid. Smart. If you look at it, he's a good kid.
But no.
I can challenge it. I can challenge it. They don't want to cross the ball to him because they know what he cannot do or what he can do. He's not capable of. So what's the point of wasting the crosses?
That's fine.
But the moment he comes off, they start crossing the ball. And then at that moment, we don't have a Xerxes. We don't have a striker. It's Bruno up front or Mount up front or Ahmad up front, and they start crossing the ball to players who are incapable of heading the ball. In that kind of way, that's how I see it. But guys, let me finish off. Let me land as well. Let me finish off about my overall thoughts because, again, Haaland was poor, but so were other players. Ugarte as well, in my opinion, wasn't that great. Bruno was non-existent in that game. He wasn't influential at all. He had a poor game, in my opinion. And I'm not surprised that these teams that we threw in the starting 11 lost this game. I'm not surprised because I said it last week. When we play our second team, and our third team is even bad, we know it. And then when we play the second team, it's going to be even worse. And we can't create the chances. But what I don't understand with Ruben Amorim is that, yes, you want to bank everything on the Europa League, but our pride, our ego is on the line. We get trolled week in, week out. We're losing games because you want to change the team and play the second team to give them a chance. How about you put some self-respect together and fill in your strongest team so we can win these remaining games and finish as high as possible in the league? The Europa League's in finals in 10 days. You can play a strong team that's 90% strong.
Yeah.
There were certain games that I thought. Yeah, there were certain games that we played a completely second team when we had a whole week of rest. And the next game wasn't until the following week of the Europa League. He decided to just play a second team. And then the week that led to the Europa League match, you played a strong team. But this manager,
to be honest, with or without the strong team, the team's not good enough overall. He could put out a strong team. West Ham would still beat us. I don't trust this team. I think mentally the team's just they've been in the Premier League, so I won't even blame Amorim for making changes because for me, it won't have made a difference. Once the whole mentality of the squad is just focused on the Europa League, then it's going to be hard to pick them back up for that game and the remaining 2 league games. So I wouldn't even bother be stressing about that, to be honest.
What you are saying, I feel like we as fans, we want a lot of things sometimes. If he had filled, like he started like the strong team, like everyone is saying, okay, we saw Lenny go down in that game. And he has been one player that has been instrumental for us in the Europa League this season. He has done better in that competition. If we had the likes of Bruno go down in that game, or we have like we have like say a couple of injuries. We will still be the one year blaming this manager at the league. Yes, I understand that our pride is on the line and we need to at least go higher up the table a bit, at least 14, 13, or 12 if we can. But then I feel like that's not visible. We just have 2 games to go. There is no need risking because we all know now that all our hopes are on the Europa League. If we lose that, I think that is when Amorim is going to know that a lot of people that are backing him are just backing him because of the Europa League. A lot of people are not backing Amorim because they actually trust whatever he's doing. People are just trusting him because they feel like now he has the opportunity of getting Champions League football and winning a trophy. If he loses the Europa League final, guys, I can say now that more than 50% of the United fan base will be hammering him out because they've not seen anything to back since he has joined the club. You get my point? So I feel like as a coach, he knows that his season and everything lies on that Europa League final. And I feel like that's why he's just putting out any team, not like the strongest team in particular. And also, the team he put out against West Ham was not actually a bad team. Arma started the game, Bruno Fernandes started the game, Oyland started the game, which normally he will start. Apart from the goalkeeper in Bayern there, the defense, we had Juro, we had Luke Shaw, we had Mazerawi that will start on a normal day for United. So I feel like the team was not even like a second string team, if you want to say that. So you get my point. I feel like the season has been so bad that everything lies on the Europa League. And he knows. And that was why in his statement he mentioned it. Even after winning this Europa League, it doesn't change how bad the season has been. The only reason he's not getting sacked because Ineos also know that if they sack Amorim now, they also on their end, they made a very big mistake of getting Eric Ten Hag out and not doing their due diligence to get someone in that can do a good job or change the fortune of this team. So I feel like it's a lot. I feel like as first, let's win this Europa League final, get Champions League football, and we'll discuss about Amorim because for now we can't afford to lose that Europa League. If we do, it's going to be. I cannot explain the reaction Amorim is going to get from and Ineos. We've seen them with the pressure. If they start putting pressure on them, they can make a decision of getting Amorim out. And if they do it, no one will say no to that because he has been shocking since he joined United.
It's been shocking indeed. Big up to everyone that's tuning in. We're going to get into the second segment of the show. Amorim's future in doubt. He even said it himself. But first of all, smash that like button, share across all social media platforms. And of course, become a member of Red United TV. For those who are watching on playback as well, this will be available to you on Spotify audio platform and as well, Apple Podcasts and Amazon Podcasts as well. Let's get straight into it because Ruben Amorim said it after we lost, highlighting the way Manchester United have been playing throughout the whole season, as well as questioning his own future. Amorim said, we are losing the feeling that we are a massive club and it's the end of the world to lose a game at home. If we are not scared of losing a game at Manchester United and don't have that fear anymore, it is the most dangerous thing a big club can have. Amorim also said, everybody here has to think seriously about a lot of things. That's what he said, which is true. Everybody's thinking about the Europa League final. The final is not the issue. We have a bigger thing to think about. I'm talking about myself and the culture in the club and the culture in the team. We need to change that, says Amorim. It's a decisive moment in the history of the club. We need to be really strong in the summer and to be brave because we will not have a next season like this. If we start like this, if the feeling is still here, we should give the space to a different people, which meaning a different manager when he says different people. I want to get you guys' thoughts on Amorim and what he said there. Is his future in doubt? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the positive, the negatives, and what happens if he stays, what happens if he doesn't stay. Let's get straight into it, guys. Who wants to kick off this segment? And I know Uche last time said he passed the ball to Jerome. So this is your time, Jerome, because I know Uche wants you to start, and I want you to start, big man.
Okay.
So your thoughts on Amorim's quotes and his future.
Okay. In relation to Amorim's quotes, that's him basically saying if they don't win the Europa League, whether they win the Europa League or not, if they start the season how they're playing this season, then he might as well just walk. That's what he's basically saying. There's no point leaving the club sacking him. He'll just walk himself because you can't continue in this vein. And that's just like a downward spiral. If we did, based on how he's been in the Premier League this season, we'll end up being in another relegation battle. And it'll probably be hard to get out of that relegation battle simply because this season, Leicester, Southampton, Ipswich have been like really poor, below Premier League standards. And the standard of the Premier League might even be even more higher next season. So that's what he's basically saying. Obviously, he's not just saying just himself. He's saying the whole club. It's basically going back to how Ralph was talking during his interim spell. It just needs an open heart surgery from top to bottom, like major changes, not just on the football pitch, but the board, maybe even some of his backroom staff, because we don't know what they're doing behind the scenes as well. And he's honest in his own assessment of his own performance as well. So that's what I got from it. I reckon that he's not just going to be blaming the players. He will be taking responsibility for this performance as well. But my thing is this. Ineos brought him in November, and the team had never played a back three before, or maybe a few times, like just to like get out of jail. But it was never their core culture, their core way of playing, and Ineos knew that. Like for the last 4 or 5 years, the team's been playing a back four. They've been playing, I think it's 4-3-2-1, basically counter-attacking football, just park the bus and hit teams on the break with pace, with Rashford, Martial, and whoever else was playing up front. So for Ineos to tell the manager now or never, when he specifically said he wanted to come in the summer, because that would be a fresh reset, a fresh start. They would have the whole pre-season, what's that, like 4 or 5 weeks to work on the team's philosophy, the back three, perfect it, bring in his own players and have a fresh start. But because they were so desperate to get him in, he's come in and he's changed the whole outlook of the squad. A squad that has been mixed with Oli, ETH, even Mourinho players are still there. All different styles and all different managers' players molded into one that used to playing part of the bus football. And now they've been told that they need to now switch and learn a back three in basically in the middle of a season. So you can imagine like how things would have been going in training. It's like you're learning a new skill and you're being taken out of your comfort zone. And that coupled with players with big egos and high wages, I'm probably thinking, I don't want to be doing all of this. Like, this is not what I'm used to. So you can imagine the task that the manager had already to implement his style. Because I know people keep saying, back three don't work, this and that. But there's clubs that play back three. I think Wolves play a back three. Crystal Palace play a back three. I think there's another team as well. They all play it successfully. And even with Crystal Palace, they brought in a new manager. And they've adapted well. So that I don't think there's no excuse on that front. I just think it's coupled with a lack of quality in our players and big egos in the team, which is why we had to get rid of a few players in the January window in the first place. And for the fact that Ineos told the guy now or never and still didn't really back him in January, that tells us that Ineos have got a lot to answer for as well with their management of this club, with their part ownership. Because obviously they brought in Ashworth, they chased him for feels like a year, just to sack him within a few months. And it could be the same with Amorim as well. So it's all good saying Amorim this and Amorim that, but the box starts at the top with Ineos. This is what Ineos have put us into, basically, by bringing Amorim in mid-season, knowing that he has a totally different system that the team's accustomed to. So my take is that we need to stick with Amorim, give him a chance, because obviously Ineos was so desperate to bring him in the first place. Give him his own players that he's able to implement his philosophy with. Then we can give him a true judgment of where he's going to take this club. And then you can say, right, he's been given his players just like Oli, Etich and Mourinho did, and Louis van Gaal. And you can see whether he's going to fail or whether he's going to succeed, and then you can decide whether he's going to be the long-term answer to United's future. So obviously now it's bad because we just seem to be losing every week. But this isn't his team, and I don't want it to be another Ralph situation where Ralph came in, he wasn't backed in the January window because he was an interim, and everyone was saying that he's a fraud and he's Mr. HR, this and that. And now we're having the same exact situation with Amorim, and we know that Amorim can coach. We've seen that at Sporting. That's why we brought him in the first place, and we could see that Ralph can coach as well. And we've seen how successful he's been with the Austrian national team. So for me, the problem is not the manager. The problem is board level and their management of the playing staff, the players that they brought in that haven't fit whichever manager, whichever manager wants to play. And I know the people that want Amorim out are saying that, oh yeah, back three don't work, this and that. But we've played all different formations since Fergie retired, and it hasn't worked. And we haven't challenged for the Prem or the Champions League. So that
really, you think that? You think that we haven't challenged it? Have we totally challenged it?
We haven't challenged for the Premier League. Tell me, when did we challenge for the Premier League? Since Fergie
only
retired?
end of second is something. Do you know what is second in the league? Arsenal is boosting around it.
Who came second?
Ole.
But Oli was that second, like 15 points behind the top. You really call that challenging?
Regardless, no.
That wasn't challenging for the Premier League. That was a distance. Oli was a distance. In fact, even Mourinho was second with our highest ever points tally since Fergie retired. And I think he must have been about 18 points off first place. Challenging for the Premier League is when you finish like 3 to 6 points off the top.
In this place,
when you're second, when you're a distant second, and the league's over with like 10 games to go, I don't call that challenging. I just call that the best of the rest.
Okay.
So challenging for the league is when you're up there toe to toe. It's April, and you still got a chance to win in the league. Not when it's February and you're second, but 20 points off top. That's not challenging. That's just because the teams below you.
You're correct.
And if the person at the top is just that a lot better than the rest. So that's the way I see it. But for me, Amorim deserves at least this summer transfer window, and if things continue to go pear-shaped next season, then yeah, he deserves to be sacked. But sacking him now, for me, is way too premature. And like I said, I think it's going to be a Ralph situation.
Okay.
Before I let you go, Ultra, let me just read the comments because Ems as well threw some comments in. And he said that we're losing the feeling because setting up to fail with the shocking formation. He says he also says open heart surgery can include him, which is Ruben Amorim. He's talking about Jerome. You're comparing us to Wolves and Palace, while Jerome was speaking about Wolves and Palace paying free at the back. He also said interesting. Stick with him for what, please? What the hell has he done? It's crazy. Oche, you heard the comments from Ruben Amorim. You heard also Jerome talk about Ruben. You know the segment. His future is. He's also Ruben has put his future in doubt by saying that if he starts like this next season, then maybe Manchester United should get another person. So thoughts on the comments from Ruben and Ruben's future.
All right. So about Ruben, ever since, if you notice, I've been very, very vocal about his style of play and where he's not working. If you notice, I've only seen at the point of it's not working. Him getting sacked has never been so much in my mix because I believe it's also the same story every single time. He's been too stubborn with his style of play. Football is not static. No one seen that is playing one single formation from the start to the end. I've never seen it before. Even the great, I've never seen one person that stick to one formation regardless what. Even the great Fergie do spin around formation, even with against Arsenal. You spin around your formation based on your opponents to be able to what? To accommodate them, to counter. You can't just be an open book for everybody to learn. Everybody learns easy. Even me, I know how to break our defense. We have now. See, the funny part is, you came in mid-season. You know you came in mid-season. You came with your own staff, every single man. You came with everybody. full squad. You came in pump, and what you think that was right to do in the middle of the season is to change the total philosophy and tradition of the club. When I said total tradition, formation, style, every single thing in the mid-season, everybody backed you up. Your first game, you lost it. What does it tell you? And what was your defense? I said
Actually,
this is a
he
new
drew
thing
his
about
first
added.
game.
Yeah,
1-1.
we're at Ipswich. Yeah.
Ipswich
Okay,
1-1.
he drew the first game and he lost the next game.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, look at what I want to point out in this situation is you're trying to enforce something for the first time. Everybody can be very rigid. What was his backup plan? That he doesn't have the right players. Do you know what that means? I repeat here, there's no formation you want to play on earth that Manchester United squad cannot give it to you and you get a correct result. The difference is if you feel that a squad you have cannot deliver yours, what kind of formation do you think you have that you cannot deliver? That shows you lack the motivation to motivate the entire squad to do your bidding. Look at what happened in the middle of the season. He was so strong it was true, and everybody trying to feel. So I don't know why any man that comes into Manchester United will actually want to feel like tall. Everybody, you make a mistake, get out, another person in. Okay, everybody standing up. For how long? If you do that, and everybody know that, okay, you don't give a shit, you pull everybody out, everybody messes up. What will you do? You can't bench everybody. You can't. And guess what? After like how many matches, he became what? Those side now begging them. You can't do that. You form boss, everybody you were doing as if you don't care, you don't have anybody, you can pull everybody out. You were spinning around players all around the whole pitch like you don't care. You play everybody, you bring Anthony, you play him wing back, you just anybody just to have a complaint to bench someone, and they were all what? Submissive. Doing your bidding. And you come in the press and you're telling them they're not good enough to manage you till transfer window to get them out. Nobody will play for you. Natural psychology. No one will play for you because we already know that you're just managing them till the end of the season for you to get your real players. The same way that happened, you can't be saying that and expect your players to play. The only reason we are playing well with Europa is because it's a different ball game. This is what they call whatever I get is what I'm going home with. What happened? You lost at all the whole competitions. We're all out because one, you were playing around with all the whole competition. Up till now, you are still testing your first 11 up till today. Up till this moment, you are still testing your first 11. Amas is playing for you, throw him back. Ahmad, you throw him back. Who does this kind of situation? Now, I can repeat again, the problem is never the formation. This is not the first time we've played this kind of formation before. The problem is never the formation. The problem around here is how do you believe in the players in the squad? You don't believe in them. And they can't give you those results because you don't believe in them. That's a simple fact. The same way you players don't believe in Rasmus, no matter what you do, it will take a different level of Cristiano Ronaldo's kind of. Imagine a player like Rasmus that the whole squad don't believe in you to pass ball to you. The fans don't believe in you. You must be more than Cristiano Ronaldo mentality to thrive in that kind of environment. That's what I'm trying to say. United environment now does not aid for players to flourish because everybody is there to kill you in your confidence level. We did it to every single player in that squad. You need to have more than 100% level of your mentality should be high for you to play Manchester United. But right now, Ruben is not able to coordinate that. Is there still time to do it? Is in his hands. Whether to get sacked, I don't even know. I'm not really an option about that because I believe he's promising, but he's being stubborn with his tactics. Be relaxed.
Do you want Amorim to
There's
get
no time
sacked?
to change your.
That is interesting that you said that you believe he's promising, because I was never of that opinion from the way you've spoken about Ruben
Yeah, I
Amorim.
thought you was
that
Amorim out.
No.
I thought, yeah.
Amorim has
that-
always been about the formation. If I keep saying, look at this. I believe in science. You can't be playing the same formation over and over again and you expect a different result. It is not working. What have you not tried? Who haven't you paid that center back with? who are going to play with wing back plates, who haven't played all the, still is not working. Up till now, you still are not able to get the right person for the squad for more than 4 months, 6 months. Come on.
You know what I find
It's not beyond
interesting?
me. It's
You know
beyond
what I
me
find-
now.
You know what I find interesting that how we all berated, well, not all of us, but some of us berated ETH for not playing Ajax after spending 600 M's on his own players. And he said that we'll never be able to play Ajax because we don't have the players for it, even though the club backed him with all his players. But now we're berating Amorim for not changing his system and not playing and not changing the system that he was brought in for from India. So I think it's a bit of like a contradiction.
He can play it, but okay, what happened? So the idea is play the formation, whether it's working or not. You playing it is not giving a result. What do we work with? And when people say that, when I say it's promising, is that I've seen a structure in the page. I've seen there's a structure. It's promising. You see, there's a structure. There's an instruction in place here. But the truth that instruction is not yielding result because it's been cracked. It's not for him to be dynamic. If you watch, he's a one straightforward kind of coach. It's easy to see us through. If you see a formation, you know what to do. Even right now, without you know who to actually get out of the game, and that's just it. A game is easy to crack.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do agree with you in that regard. That's why I'm saying that I just want to see what Amron can do once he's got his own team in. Because like I keep saying,
what do you mean
he did not want to come in.
This is the problem. Come on, this is the problem. He's got which team? So you expect them to take away everybody? That is why it will not work. You feel that the players here are not good enough.
Well, whose fault is that then? Whose fault is that then?
It can never work.
Whose fault is that then? If that's the case,
now,
whose
look
fault
at
is that? The board brought Amorim in when he told them, specifically when he told them that he wanted to come in the summer because he knew from watching this team that they weren't capable of playing the way that he wants to play. And everyone knows that he plays a back
you
three.
can't say they're not capable. What kind of play is this trying to play that Rashford cannot play? Who is he? What kind of style is that?
Rashford cannot be playing. Rashford has never been that great. Rashford
got loaned up.
No. Let's talk about professionals here. No. We're making us see if these players are not really professionals. So what you tell me is a style of play that the whole professionals in the whole squad can play in the team? That's embarrassing to the players. That's an insult to them.
I did say the other day. I did say with the Kobe Mainoo situation that they said, "Oh, he can't fit into the system." I said he's young enough to learn.
Everybody's they have seen the play under different managers. What do you mean they can't play you? What kind of system is that? 3-4-3-2. What kind is it from Moon? Who can play those formations? But when you constantly feel that the players are not good enough, let me tell you, even if you give those 2 windows and those players come from the moon everywhere, as far as that energy within that team is not there, it's not gonna work. Because everybody, any player in the field, that they don't hold in the position for you. They are placeholders. You're about to replace every one of them. They'll sabotage everything.
It's going to need a lot of patience.
Basically. So what it means
because the club's been managed so poorly,
clearing everybody and bringing your own.
It's not going to be a quick fix. You could change the manager now. We're still going to see the same thing.
No,
change the manager, play back 4. It's going to be exactly the same.
Let him change. He's too rigid. Let him be dynamic. That's it. That's the problem. See, I don't believe in get you out. Be dynamic.
I don't think he should change. I don't think he should change. I think he should stick to what he was doing.
No. Do you know what I have to say? We all got onto Eric Ten Hag for changing and going against his philosophy.
Exactly.
I remember this. Everyone got onto him and said, "Oh, you should have stuck to your guns."
Information is not a philosophy. We are changing this.
No, but he was brought here to play Ajax style, and he changed. He went against his beliefs.
What are we saying?
And Ruben Amorim, these are his beliefs and his principles. The 3-4-3 formation is his beliefs.
He cannot define a manager,
and he wants to stand on it. He wants to stand on it.
Spies, what are we saying? A formation cannot define a manager. A formation cannot define a manager.
Can.
How can
a formation can and a philosophy can define a manager? It has been done. Johan Cruyff was known for his philosophy, total football, and he stood on every single ground. Look at Pep Guardiola. He stands on his philosophy. The formation may change, but the principles that philosophy remains the same. And that's what he stands on. And Ruben Amorim, he's 3-4-3. Antonio Conte, he's 3-4-3. He doesn't change it for anyone. Allegri, 3-4-3. All these there are people who stand and back their formation to the
That's what I'm
end,
saying. It's not
and to heel
information.
in the
The
end,
formation is
and all
not
same
working.
as philosophy.
No, the problem with the
It
team is not the
happens.
formation. Even if you change the formation, it's about you. The team is not motivated enough. I'm saying, what is that formation that United squad cannot play? There is nothing in the formation. It's about you believing that the squad you have can deliver. You can't deliver with just mere words waiting for summer window to ship them all out to get your squad in. It can't work. Even me, myself, if I'm playing for you and I'm hearing you at the press conference, then when you get the right players to. So what means I'm just a placeholder. I'm
Yeah,
a placeholder.
Do you think
they
another
should
manager?
know.
Look, listen.
I
Right,
think they should
do you
know
think
that.
another manager that does exactly what you're saying now? You reckon we'll start challenging for the Premier League?
Right now, all he needs is someone to. The team don't trust him. That's the truth. The team don't trust him anymore because
Did they trust
trust?
ETH or Oli
What
or
is
Mourinho?
trust? Trust is when you believe your manager have your best interest at heart.
You're missing the
Right
point,
now,
man.
your
Because
manager is
these
planning on
same
how
set of
to ship you
players,
out of the squad to
these
get
same set of
someone else
players
to
have
play for
down
that
tools
position because you're
again
not good enough.
with all these managers that I've just mentioned. Top managers. Obviously, Ollie's not a top manager, but we're talking about Mourinho, ETH, players that have managers that have won titles in I think ETH won it in the Dutch League and he got to the semis of the Champions League. So he's got pedigree. And obviously Mourinho's won Champions Leagues and multiple titles. And these same set of players down tools against these great managers.
Did they say they're not good enough? The problem is, did coach ever the point, Mourinho had ever the point, say that his squad is not good enough, he needs to get a better one, you're going to do that. That is the problem.
Mourinho
when you
said it
constantly
several
think,
times.
now, look at it this way. That's it. When you put it that way, that you need the right players to play the right positions, that means the squad is not good enough. You already know they're not good enough to produce for you. They will sabotage this to the very last. Let me say this to the very, very last. Nothing is going to work out as far as we're in this place. And believe you me, if he brings in those new players,
and you know what, Ochi, let me just
you see what
let me challenge you on
Rasmus?
that. I just want to say, good that they show that they're down to, because they don't have the characteristics to be professionals, even though they know that they're not good enough to still show us their best ability on the pitch. And they haven't been doing that for a very long time. They did the same thing against the previous managers. Eric Ten Hag, they down tools when they knew that they were told they were not good enough. Jose Mourinho has done it and it ended up really bad. But listen, these players need to go and they need to be told. I will tell them. I'm with the manager for this, to tell them that you're not good enough, because at the end of the day, you need to show us that you're good enough to prove yourself that you need to be at this club. And if you're down to this in now, you'll do the same thing next season under someone else. I don't want players who just have the characteristics of I quit and I want to down tools all the time, because this is not Manchester United players. Manchester United players, the characters are winners. They get criticized, they look themselves in the mirror, and they go onto that pitch and they show everyone that, yes, I can do it. I am not a loser and I will not quit. I will prove myself. Even if I'm not the best, I will still prove myself against this manager who's against me. Those are the characters that we prefer at Manchester United. Those players that have resilient mind. Not these pussies. Not these pussies that keep down to.
But now it's changed. Ten Hag was different. No. It's different. Now look at Ten Hag. Ten Hag was able to succeed because he trusted some players. What happened? When he pushed out Ronaldo out of the team, what happened? He trusted the team.
No. Let's correct this. He didn't push Ronaldo out the team. Ronaldo told us that he wanted to leave Manchester United. He didn't get escorted. Ronaldo told you, Oche, it was on 4K written down. I want to leave. Don't say he got pushed out.
Ten Hag didn't succeed today was because of that incident.
No, Ronaldo wanted to leave.
Ronaldo
wanted to leave before ETH wanted to come. Before ETH arrived, he wanted to leave. That was the whole problem.
I understand that, but I want to tell you that if he had handled that situation, that was where he downfall. Because
the club tried to get Ronaldo to stay.
No, this is the truth.
And Ronaldo missed pre-season.
He didn't manage it well.
What are you on about?
Regardless how he's already there, we already saw it play out. He didn't manage it well because at that point he had a divided word support because he divided the team automatically from that incident. People were against him already. So it was just about time. The other guy win over to Ronaldo's side.
Yeah.
That was
Bottom
what
line
happened.
is
Right now, nobody trusts.
Ronaldo
The
wanted to
boys
leave.
do not trust
And
Ruben.
even Oli
That's just it.
himself said that Ronaldo shouldn't have even been brought back to the club in the first place. So that's that at the end of the day.
That's a
But
different thing.
even like I said
But
before,
right
the players
now,
don't trust
the team,
Ruben. Good, because then we know who they are.
they don't trust Ruben. And
We know the type of
no,
people they are.
regardless, you think it's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing. If you're really street, you need to be soft. It's a two-way thing. And if you're a manager that don't have a first level, no matter how it is, no one trusts you, and that's a problem. You might think you put them on an edge, and then, okay, look at now. You put them on edge since last year. Right now, who's on the edge? Is Ruben, not them. That is it. So I see the play out with all of them. Ten Hag, each stage was was the boss. Everything was happening. Along the line, his voice, watch his press conference from the start of his tenure. It was really, really strong. Towards I thought it was slow. The same way with Ruben. It's now reducing. Because one, you have to be these are players as well. You work with these players. You can't say nobody, they're not really good. Do you know what it means? People made Casemiro oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
The
but
team
yeah,
is
let's
not-
be
it's not-
real
it's not-
though. The manager's just saying that what we are really thinking, and they're not good. And Uche, we spoke about this last week. They're not that great. They're not that great.
Okay.
It's the
Now,
truth.
what do you expect? You said they're not
As
that
a
great.
group,
How
collectively,
many
they're not that
your
great.
players right now? Do you know that if you remove those players, you're saying that they're not great?
Yes, they'll
Your
thrive
club
elsewhere.
becomes
Yes,
an average team.
Marcus Rashford
becomes
goes to Aston
Crystal
Villa,
Palace
thrive. Yes, I
version
hear
2.
that.
That is the only thing holding you. The only thing why if you go to play a game, some players will not rush you immediately because they see some experienced players. If you remove all of them right now, everybody will rush us. Even their keepers might rush into us right now. If you don't understand, those are the only thing holding us right now. And believe you me, Onana is out of the way. Take him out. Bring any other players like that. That defense, take him out. I'm right in the position. Remove everybody. You see that if that mentality is not changed, we need superstars. Those players are not hungry. No player is hungry right there. And because the team is built on around high wages and big boys around, it won't work unless you remove all of them, which is going to be very, very impossible at this moment.
No. And the only
right,
thing
we
I
have
have to
to
say,
work with them.
Uche, if I was to ask you which players would you keep at Manchester United, I'm very sure you would keep a small amount of number, which tells me they're not good enough. You're not keeping.
No.
The
reason why the reason why they need to leave.
Are you keep?
No.
Would you keep half the
The
squad?
reason why players need to leave, not because they're not good enough, is because you need to change the environment. The environment is already not being healthy enough for you right now. Like I'm happy that Matic left. You spent 5 years. Come on, without no trophy, with nothing to show. What are you doing? You need to work. The same way I'm looking at Bruno. If Bruno should miss out on this, trust me, he needs to work. That is it. Either he stays and retires in Manchester United or he goes to Saudi Arabia because it will be awful because if he misses this Europa, it's going to be a long time before we smell anything
that,
close
Bruno?
to top 4.
Bruno ain't
Yes.
winning nothing major at Man United. He should leave.
So yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If he doesn't win,
Yeah.
if he doesn't win with Europa, he should just go. That's just this are not necessary. He should just go because it's of no use. Let's try something else. Let's try something different. It's because look at it. Even all of them that stay without nothing, move. Try something else. Try hungry players because now you don't need 1, 2, 3, 4. It becomes normal to you. Losing is no longer it becomes a culture. But we need hungry people that want to test something. It becoming normal with all these players. Losing is not normal to them. So you need that mentality out of the way. So right now, if you look at those squads, those hungry ones, you pick them, move on with other ones. But regardless in all this, you need to motivate your players. You can't keep saying they're not good enough. Like you need to get your boys. Let me tell you, if they open the market for you, you can't get what? How much you want to pay them? You want to pay them? Look at Victor Sime. What happened? We can't afford him. You're going to bring young boys that are on testing inexperienced. They'll run them over in the Premier League. You know that.
All I'm gonna say is this:
You know that.
we've got enough sample size to tell us that these players ain't good enough. No matter which manager comes in, the manages this team. I can even go back as far as Ralph who's got his own philosophy in formation. He's got his 4-2-2 formation. I think he played in the first game against Crystal Palace. It lasted 20 minutes. Then after that, the team just gave up and said, "This is too much for us. We can't do this." Then he had to basically go back to Ollie ball, and it just went pear-shaped. And everyone was saying that he's a fraud, he's Mr. HR, he's not a proper manager. Ronaldo was saying he didn't even know who he was and all of that. And here we are, a few years later, complaining that Amorim's not changing the system. But we've seen over the last few years that the team's played in multiple systems and still failed. So I don't know why we're complaining about Amorim sticking to his system. So that tells you that we need a major change in the playing squad. So that's my reasons for giving Amorim this next season to show us what he can do with his players, the same way everyone else has had their own team.
Okay. Just one question. One question I want to ask you now, Jerome. Tell me one reason. Forget about that, the way they brought him, how if you look at Ruben's stats record, if you are the part of the board, how will you assess them? If you look at that, will you say is a pass? Is it worthy to be given a contract more?
If I was to look at Ruben's Man United record in isolation,
everything, both in management, look at both management, both outside the pitch, off the pitch, what he have done so far for the team, both the improvement performance, what will you say? What has he done to say that, you see a green light?
I would definitely say that he hasn't met the expectations in terms of results, because obviously nobody expected the results and performances to be this bad. But because we've now seen these performances, that tells us that we've got a major issue with the quality of the playing squad. Because even though he's stuck to his 3-4-3 formation, we've already seen with these set of players who are used to a 4-3-2-1 formation that failed anyway. They didn't succeed with that formation. So now they're playing a new formation that they're not familiar with and they don't seem to be willing to learn or being unable to adapt to. That's not just on the manager. Because every
what's
manager
the good
has
part?
their own style of
The good
play.
part he has done. I want to know the good things, the good aspect he has brought so far since last year. What will you say he has actually done? That is okay, fine. He's building this. What will you say he has done so far? He has built so far to actually give him another contract. To actually say he's doing a good job.
He doesn't deserve a new contract. Based on results and performance, he doesn't deserve a new contract. He's got after this season. He's got 2 years left.
No, I'm just asking you right now. If I'm just giving you a scenario right now, what are the pegs you say if you're in the shoes now to make the decision? What are the pegs you say? Okay, he has done this, has improved this. That you say, okay, fine, it's good to give him a good mark. Because when you're about to offer someone a contract, you see, look at the pitfalls, look at the good ones. What are the good ones he has actually done so far in the team, both on and off the pitch? What has he done so far? What are the highlights so far for this since he came?
Well, there isn't. I'll be honest. There isn't that much highlights. I'm not going to sit here and make.
Give me. You should give me something. Just give me one. Just give me one thing. Just one thing. And I'm not worried about just
one thing that I'm happy with is that getting rid of Rashford.
One thing that I'm happy with is that he's identified players that are not good enough for the team long term, and he's told the board that he needs to get rid of them. And secondly, he's a manager that's
calling out dead weights
to his principles, and that shows strong leadership and strong management, not giving up on your morals and principles after a couple of games. And I think that's something that you need to be Man United manager. And he's going to be one of the few managers that are going to try and eliminate this player power thing, because player power has been ruining this club. And I think with Amorim, hopefully we can remove all of that and we can start bringing players to fit the philosophy and not having players bring a toxic environment to the team and stop the team from progressing. So those are the few positives that I can take from Amorim's tenure so far.
So if I listen to you now, what you've actually said that so far, he actually gave himself so much power in the team. That's actually removed it from the players. That's what he have already done. And second thing I've actually done to the team, you've actually called out players, criticized players that are not really good enough, to them that they are not good enough. And then the third one he has actually done in the team that I actually mentioned right now, which is
his principles.
I think that's just about it.
His principles. He hasn't changed his principles for no one. He's stuck with...
No, I'm not saying the principles. Okay, principles is about being straight, but I need to see this principle. When we talk about principles, we use this word often enough. What does it entail? I understand that he's a manager that gives instruction. He's actually strict with the words, but how has all this style, how has it made us better? I'm talking about numbers now. I'm talking about what we can see, not just about love, about support. It's about what can we appreciate that he has already done in the team. When they play, what have you seen? Oh, this is lovely that they're playing, and they should keep on that because you can't say they should keep on that because the result is like 4-0, you lost in the game. You can't say let's keep on from that. And if you have more losses than your win, I'm searching for a something to hold on to say that he's in the right path. The only thing I'm actually holding on to here that I actually know is that he bought in mid-season. He should give him the time to lose more. That is just all. And he succeeded in giving up, becoming so room. Everybody fears him right now. He has given that veto power back to him. He has succeeded. Now what next? We need it to work. That's what I'm asking. What are the attributes he has actually done to the team that will say, yes, he has done so much? I can't see nothing.
Let's end up wrapping this show because I want to get you guys' final thoughts. But Jerome, do you have anything to say to what Uche has said right there in terms of a response? Or
my response to that is don't overstress on it. We can obviously see that the players have given up on the Premier League this season. Okay. So no matter what the manager does or says, it's not going to change the mindset of the team. As I said, we're all humans at the end of the day, and there's only so much Amorim can do to set these players up on the pitch. You can prepare all week, but it's up to the players to deliver on the pitch. And obviously they're not doing that. We clearly saw, even just by watching the highlights alone, that the players didn't care. And they didn't put the effort in. The goals that we conceded at Old Trafford against West Ham were easy. And that was a team that hadn't won in the last 8 league games. So that, you can't blame that on the manager. Formation or no formation, we shouldn't be losing to West Ham at home. So that tells you what you need to know on that. So my thing is this: give him next season, show us what he can do. If it looks like we're going on a downward spiral from August up until, I would say, Christmas, then we could say, right,
they're bringing another person again mid-season to repeat the cycle again, right?
Well, people want Amorim sacked now. So people want Amorim sacked now. So like, that would be what? Changing managers every 6 months. At least I'm giving him a summer window and a 3 months to see what he can do.
For him to say that, if he says we should give him small time, that means bring another person mid-season again.
Repeat the cycle. That's what fans want. That's what Ems wants. Sack a manager, bring a manager to play back 4, and then we'll start challenging for Premier Leagues.
Big up to everyone that's tuning in right now. Smash that like button as we're coming close to the end of the show. I'm going to get the guys' final thoughts. We do have Chelsea on Friday. You catch me at 8 o'clock live for the watch along, and then the match reaction that follow up after, and then next week Monday with the catch up. And then we've got the Europa League final. Everything that's been banked on for this particular day. Guys, let me go straight to you, OJ. Final thoughts for the people who are watching.
Okay, so just want to say, like we already know, this United, we just keep supporting because right now we can't sack the manager at the end of right now. We can't do anything. We just have to pray that he actually becomes a little bit dynamic to play his best starting 11 and at least please play Ahmad more front than the wing back. Let him be closer to the goal. That's all I'm asking. Play Garnacho, play Ahmad, play whoever you want at the top up front. And I can even prefer you playing Bruno false 9 and bench Erasmus, no problem. But the idea is always start your best wingers, which is Ahmad and Garnacho. This is your the 2 guys that will win the match for you anytime, any day. They are now back in their form. Why are you slowing them down? That's just my question. So we need that to be for him to actually succeed. And secondly, he needs to change. Know that this players is all he got now, and he needs to work with them. That's all he has right now, because he can't actually ship away all the old players and bring in new players. Regardless, he seems to be stuck with this players that he's saying that they're not good enough. Because last time I checked, these players have played in the highest level. This squad also have actually won trophies. I can imagine Arsenal is not yet to win a trophy for 5 years now. But this squad now that is really bad enough has 2 in their bag and going for the final in Europe. So let's give them some credit. It's not easy. They're in Europe. They're about to play the champions of the is a big feat. So this squad needs to be given the respect they needed because they actually played up to where we are at this point. And I think also we're giving so much credit, so much pressure on Euro. He's still young, he's a teenager. He needs to have time to really adapt with the game. And we need more mature games. I don't even mind having Lindelof around with Maguire. We need right now. It's time we need more experienced players in the back. That's all. The truth is, that's all you have. It's better you have an experienced player than you bring the young player that doesn't know his left or right, that doesn't read the game. Experience still matters now. It is a point we need experience, not about how good you are, how fast you are. You need an experienced players. You need them. They're good. That's why you need them. Look at how Barcelona have lost a game to the Champions League because that experience is not there at the dying minute. You need those ones. Look at Casemiro's goals. You can't get that anywhere. You can't get from any kid. No. See the positioning, everything is all round. So I would say I still believe he has a lot to offer. He's good. He's just being stubborn with his tactics. That's just all. Everybody just saying change, change, and if he changed, that was aha. So that's just it. We just believe we actually bring out the best and motivate the team enough to actually bring the best in them. That's just all I have to say.
And Jerome, can I get your final thoughts before we close off?
Well, I can't see us winning any of our remaining 2 league games. We play.
I hear you support him. Come on, why are you saying this?
I gotta be real. Like we're playing on a Friday night. You know, after all these Thursdays, we're playing the Friday night away at Chelsea, who are going for the Champions League places. So I don't see anything there. And then on top of that, we've got the Europa League the following next Wednesday in 9 days time. So we just need to forget about the Chelsea game, if I'm going to be brutally honest with you, and just focus all our energies, get all our players back fit and fresh for Wednesday. Hopefully, if we win the Europa League, then it'll be all smiles and everyone will be happy again, and then we can just enjoy our summer.
I wait for the transfer window. At least let's bring a striker in.
Literally. But yeah, we're going to need to get a striker in because I'm tired of seeing Glassmus just on the floor. But yeah, that's my thoughts, isn't it? Just I'm only just focused on next Wednesday right now, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Big up to everyone as well that's tuning in. My final thoughts, of course, yeah, I'm with Jerome. I don't think we can get one more point to reach that magic 40-point mark at all. We can't do it. Chelsea, they'll smoke us. They'll beat us at Stamford Bridge because we don't have a great history at Stamford Bridge anyway going there. Aston Villa, who's been in a far better form, better team than us. Yeah, we'll definitely lose that game. And I know it's at Old Trafford, but the boys won't turn up at Old Trafford at all because we just don't get those W's. So, guys, strap up, because we're going to lose the next 2 Premier League games. But it's all about the Europa League. We're banking it all on, and hopefully we can win.
Yeah.
And then, like Jerome says, some of you will forget, but I can never forget about this season that we finished 16th or potentially 17th. You never know with those 2 games, because Tottenham might even just do one better at one of those match days in the last 2 games and probably end up winning a game and then go above us. So you just never know. But this is the worst season of them all. The worst season in the Premier League that we've ever had. Goals returned, the amount of goals we scored, the amount of games we've lost. It's the chances we created. It's just an absolute embarrassment, and they need to fix up. If they don't fix up next season, and especially in the summer, yeah, it can get worse. It could potentially get worse. But big up to everyone. This podcast is available on audio platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, and also Amazon as well. Smash that like button, share across all social media platforms. Follow everyone that's on this as well. Uche as well. Uche, can you just give us your Instagram handle?
Yeah, that's Isole Black.
And Jerome as well, where can they find you on Instagram?
Yeah, just search J Williams _1.
Exactly. And follow Red United TV across all social media platforms by clicking on the description. The link is below. Of course, if you want to know from what I have to say, Red United TV 1 on Instagram and Red United TV on TikTok. Till next time, guys. As always, it's been a pleasure. What a show. Hopefully, Ruben Amorim doesn't get sacked by the time we resume again. He really won't. He really won't. I'm just chatting shit. But as always,
You know what? You know what? You guys were confident before. Now no one is confident anymore.
I'm
It's just hoping. It's
Yeah,
hope.
before he was
I'm okay.
confident. Now no
Hoping.
one is
I'm not
confident.
saying I'm not confident. But yes, as I say, guys, Manchester United fans, I know it's hard. And as I always end the show, remember to keep it united if you can. You know, we're all struggling out here. But the most important thing is to remember to keep it Red United. We are out. Peace and love, and see you next time.
Yeah. Sign out.